there was confidence and belief, but I think with every game that has gone by, it got better and better. After the Ireland game, when we qualified, I could see that the boys are as much as they are hungry, but they're also relieved the fact that we have qualified. But we had a very good chat in the changing room that how important the next game could be, and to manage to win it. I think that's what win does. It sort of lifts you, the confidence comes back, and you start believing a lot more. So yeah, it's suddenly it's a really nice changing room at the moment. Let's just say that.
Sikandar, could you describe Blessing Muzawani? He's been the sort of the star fast bowler for your team. What is it that makes him so difficult to play? Because you guys would have played him in the nets as well. Could you describe how he's such an asset to the team?
Yeah, certainly. So I think all you guys, all the world sees is of course the performance, but I think I am lucky and blessed to be his teammate because I see his hard work, I see his journey, I see those hours that he put into his fitness, into his bowling, all the hours where he does his bowling when nobody's watching and all those things. When he was unfit or when he was injured, actually, the amount of time he's done his rehab, he pushes himself. He's got a little gym in his own house as well, so he'll be doing another session there as well. So all those things, I'm really lucky and blessed the fact that he's my teammate and I get to see it, whereas the world only gets to see his performances.
Sikandar, in a short span of time, you'll have to move from Sri Lankan conditions to here. And with regards to everything that's different, there's smaller grounds here, faster outfields. In such a short sort of time span, how challenging could it be for you and the team to adapt to Indian conditions and get your sort of super hit campaign going?
Regardless of how the result goes, I don't think so it will be because we couldn't adjust to the conditions. So I think that is not how Zimbabweans are thinking, or that is not how we are thinking. We're having our warm-up now. We're going to have a net session. We absorb. We watch a lot of cricket. Some of us have played here as well, and majority of hasn't. But it's not down to the fast outfield or the conditions or anything like that. If anything, I think the weather is slightly more pleasant here, so that's a positive. Instead of worrying about the smaller grounds and anything, because it's going to stay the same for both teams. So what we are looking for is a top performance from Zimbabwe, and inshallah that will help us to win the game.
Sikandar, you mentioned about the lack of experience of playing in Indian conditions for most of the group. You spoke about the turnaround, but how can you actually deal with something like this at such a short notice? And to add to the confidence bit that you mentioned, how do you actually keep on resetting goals in the middle of a tournament?
So yes, you do have a fair point, and I think playing in India certainly helps. But if a team or if an individual hasn't had that experience, rather than counting or using that as an excuse, I personally think we can block that. It's the same wicket, it's the same soil, the weather, the breeze, the outfield, the players. If you just try and take all those things away for one game, which is tomorrow, and try and see if you can put your best foot forward after training well on the training surfaces, it doesn't guarantee you success, but at least you're giving yourself the best chance to be successful. And that is all of us are going to do today. Instead of worrying about the lack of experience in India, the outfield, the ground, the stadium, or whatever, we're going to enjoy each other's company today. We're going to see all of us, if we can help one another, what were our notes in the training. We share our notes, the batters, the bowlers, and we put our best foot forward tomorrow.
Captain, when you set out for this campaign, the goal was to kind of, among the goals was to gain respect and recognition. To a large extent, you have been able to do that. Would you say what are the next realistic goal, if you can point out that? And another factor that I wanted to ask is if you look at the score sheets across the teams, the number of sixes that Zimbabwe batters have hit have been kind of on the lower side. Would that be a concern heading into a contest against West Indies, a team which is known for its power hitting, the number of sixes that they hit?
So I'll break your question because these are two questions. So you asked me if Zimbabwe has been able to achieve the respect that we set out for. Yeah. How many of you have picked Zimbabwe to be a semi-finalist? Clearly one. So maybe we haven't done enough yet. And these are things that motivate us. These are the challenges we look forward to. I don't know if we'll make it or not. Inshallah we will. But one thing I can assure you from a Zimbabwean captain and a team point of view, we'll give it our best shot. So the respect you speak about, sir, only one guy put his hand up that Zimbabwe will get to the semi-final. So clearly we've done enough, but not well enough. Or not enough for all of you to raise your hands. So hopefully, I'd like to see that one day. Your second question is about the sixes we hit. Sir, if you look in Sri Lanka, there weren't many sixes hit there anyway. You have to skin the cat differently in Sri Lanka because of the conditions and things like that. Grounds are bigger. Wind played a huge part. The wickets were slightly on the slower and turning side, so you had to grind and graft on those wickets. India offers a different challenge. Smaller grounds, smaller boundaries, better wickets, ball flies. So hopefully, I am not worried about the lack of sixes that we hit in Sri Lanka because we had to sort of win games in a different way. And tomorrow we're going against West Indies, and hopefully we'll try and match their boundary count and win the game. But there's more than one way to win a game.
Hi Sikandar, can you talk us through your own journey, captaining this side, taking it to the Super 8s, and you are a very experienced player who has played in various leagues and all. How have you used that knowledge to help your teammates? So can you talk us through that?
So the journey is been very blessed. I struggle to talk about my personal things. I just find it very difficult to say things. So I'll talk about the team. Yes, when myself, Blessing, Ryan, Richard, and all the other cricketers who have gone overseas for the franchise cricket, we have always come back and spoken to the boys, and this is what happens, this is what works in those countries on those wickets, this is what works in these situations and things like that. So we always try and share those experiences, because if the boy hasn't got an experience, at least what we can do is share the knowledge that we have achieved when we have traveled overseas. So I'm very sure it has helped some of the boys, if not all. But I'm very sure that in this year and the years to come, there'll be many more Zimbabweans that you will see in the franchise cricket.
Yeah, Sikandar, Zimbabwe have not played in Mumbai since '87 World Cup, I believe. They played.
I don't know.
And first time they're playing a T20 here. So how excited are you to play at this historic venue where 2000 World Cup final was held and several other...
Certainly, I think once you talk about the venue, it is very historic. It's got a rich history of some unbelievable games that has been played here, and Zimbabwe hasn't played, as you said, since 1987, 6, something like that, and this is our first T20I game. So imagine, sir, if we can go from this stadium, play it 1-1-1. How nice would that be? That's our focus.
Hi, Sikandar. Just for a couple of questions. First, do you have any update on Richard Ngarava? Is he going to come back for tomorrow? And number two, I think last couple of games you have taken the new ball yourself. Can you speak a little bit about the thought process behind that?
Richard, we will assess him today and tomorrow before the game, and only Richard and the physio then will sort of decide that. If Richard is a sort of a team player for me. If he says he's good to go, I trust him fully, even if doctor says no. But if Richard says he's good to go, then I back my players. The thought process about me taking the new ball was that we picked 2 seamers in the previous 2 games we played at Premadasa. And I didn't want our seamers to bowl 3 in the power play. And I also didn't want the other spinners, because we had Creamer and Wellington. So I thought wrist spinners, it might be a little tough to bowl in the power play, and Creamer hasn't done that. So I have done it before, so I said I'll do it again. So it was just along those lines, nothing more.
Sikandar, can you talk to us a little bit about Brian Bennett? Because clearly his role seems to be slightly different to the others, that he's the one who plays long and the others can launch around him. Can you talk to us about his role within the setup? And he's not been dismissed just in the tournament, so that's another aspect, that he's able to go deep in the innings. Can you elaborate a little bit on his role within the setup?
Brian Bennett is Brian Bennett, sir. His role is just to bat, as long as he can bat. While you may think I'm being funny, but it's the truth. People who understands Brian Bennett would know what I'm talking about. Brian is Brian. His role is to bat for as long as he can. That's it. And if that means 20 overs, 15 overs, 18 overs, it doesn't matter. Brian must just bat. Okay. Thank you.